Lagos at night is a living, breathing organism. Loud, colorful, unpredictable. On weekends, the city never truly sleeps. The clubs on Victoria Island pulse with light and bass. Cars clog the streets, and laughter spills into the air like perfume. Rachel never planned to be part of that chaos tonight. She had only come to the nightclub because her colleagues insisted on celebrating her small promotion at work. Nothing big, just a salary step up at the digital marketing agency where she'd worked for 3 years. To them, it was an excuse to turn up. To her, it was a chance to break routine for once. "Ratch, loosen up," her friend Amaka shouted over the music, pushing a cocktail into her hand. "I'm trying." Rachel laughed, though she already regretted agreeing. The smell of sweat, alcohol, and perfume mixed into something dizzying. She wasn't used to such noise. Her quiet apartment on the mainland was more her comfort zone. Soft music, warm food, dim lights. But tonight she wanted to feel alive. And, partly, she wanted to forget how empty her life sometimes felt. She took a sip, then another, then another. Somewhere across the room, a man stumbled into the VIP lounge, supported by 2 bodyguards who looked like their job descriptions included "Catch Billionaire before he embarrasses himself, CC." That man was Smith Benson. The Smith Benson, the Lagos Island billionaire whose face was on Lekki billboards, whose name trended on Instagram weekly, whose businesses were splashed across every business magazine in Nigeria. He was supposed to be at a high-profile fundraiser earlier that night, but after a stressful board meeting and a very messy argument with his fiancée, well, ex-fiancée now, he had told his driver to take him somewhere loud enough to drown his thoughts. A nightclub was perfect. He didn't come to dance. He didn't come for women. He came for silence. Ironic, considering the speakers were loud enough to shake the building. But Smith wasn't thinking straight. Not tonight. He waved off his bodyguards, insisting he wanted to blend with normal people. They reluctantly gave him space, but didn't go far. He sat at the bar, ordered a drink, and then another. That was when he first saw her. Rachel, with her natural curls bouncing over her shoulders, laughing with her friend in that shy, awkward way that suggested she didn't belong here, but was trying anyway. There was something refreshing about her. She wasn't dressed to impress. She wasn't trying to be noticed. She wasn't angling for attention like most people who recognized him. She looked real. Maybe it was the alcohol. Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was just the universe playing a strange joke. But Smith stood up, a little too quickly, and walked toward her. "Hi," he said with a smile far wider than he intended. Rachel blinked, confused. Was the billionaire of Lagos talking to her? "You look like someone who doesn't enjoy clubs, but came anyway," Smith said. Her eyes widened. "That obvious." Painfully, he chuckled. They talked, and talked, and talked. At first, she suspected he was just another wealthy man looking for a good time. But he wasn't flirting. He wasn't bragging. He was human. Surprisingly so. And she, thanks to 3 cocktails, felt oddly bold. Hours passed like minutes. Drinks kept coming. They danced horribly, but enthusiastically. They joked about life, work, Lagos traffic, and why rich people were always on Instagram holding wine glasses as if they didn't have wrists. "Exactly," Smith laughed. "Why do rich people pose like this?" He lifted an imaginary glass with exaggerated elegance. Rachel nearly choked from laughter. They were both drunk, far more drunk than either realized. Around 3 a.m., Smith slurred, "Marry me." Rachel burst out laughing. "Why not? You too? Will you marry me?" "I will," he said, placing a hand dramatically on his chest. "I will marry you today." "Oh yeah? Let's go now," she teased. The friends around them cheered. Someone recorded with a phone. Someone else shouted, "Let them do it. Let them marry." "Driver," Smith yelled, pointing to the door. "Take us to the place." "The marriage place." "The registry?" the confused driver asked. "Yes, that one." Rachel laughed again. Let's go. After all, life is short. It was chaos. Loud, ridiculous, unbelievable chaos. The driver, used to cleaning up billionaire messes, muttered prayers under his breath, but followed instructions. Smith's bodyguards tried to intervene, but he barked at them to stay back. The registrar on duty had seen stranger things. Lagos never disappoints. Papers were signed. Photos were taken. Rings were bought from a 24-hour mall kiosk. Someone live-streamed the whole thing, screaming, "This is why I love Lagos." And just like that, Smith Benson and Rachel became husband and wife. Hey there. If you enjoy this story, kindly leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more beautiful stories. Now back to the story. The next morning, sunlight stabbed through the curtains like an unwanted intruder. Rachel groaned, her head pounding. Her mouth tasted of regret and tequila. She shifted. Soft sheets. Expensive sheets. Wait, where was she? She opened her eyes. It wasn't her room. This was luxury. A massive penthouse bedroom with marble floors, designer furniture, and a skyline view of Lagos Island. Then she heard a man groan beside her. She froze. She turned slowly, and there, lying shirtless, snoring softly, was Smith Benson, the billionaire whose face was everywhere. She gasped loudly enough to wake him. Smith opened his eyes halfway, staring at her like someone trying to solve a complicated math equation. "Who are you?" he croaked. Rachel sat up, clutching the blanket. "Who am I? What am I doing here?" He rubbed his face. What happened last night?" Before either could process anything, the door swung open and Smith's assistant barged in, pale with panic. "Sir, Rachel, you both need to see this." He held up his phone, hand shaking. On the screen was a viral video. Millions of views. Hundreds of comments. Trending everywhere. Breaking. Billionaire Smith Benson gets married at 3 a.m. in Lagos Club Chaos. Rachel's heart dropped. Smith's face went white. The assistant swallowed hard. "Sir, Rachel, you two are legally married. And worse, the whole of Nigeria already knows. What do you think? Should Rachel run away, or should she stay and face the consequences of this drunken marriage?" Silence. That was the only thing in the room after Smith's assistant dropped the bomb. Not music. Not laughter. Not the wild chaos from the previous night. Just silence. Thick, heavy, suffocating. Rachel stared at the assistant's phone screen as if blinking would somehow change reality. She whispered, This cannot be real." But it was real, and getting more real by the second. The video was everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, even WhatsApp statuses for people she barely remembered. Clips of her laughing, dancing, signing papers beside a very drunk Smith. At one point, she even shouted, "Nami be the new Mrs. Benson." Rachel's stomach twisted. "Oh my God," she breathed, pressing her palms to her face. "I am finished." Smith looked worse. His eyes were wide, his mouth partly open, his expression torn between confusion and impending doom. "Ow!" He swallowed hard. "How did this even happen? How did we get married? I don't even remember it." Rachel snapped. "You're asking me? I don't even remember how we left the club." The assistant, Tunde, cleared his throat. "Sir, there's more." Smith looked up sharply. "More what?" Tunde turned his phone around again. Multiple news headlines flashed. Lagos billionaire Smith Benson marries low-profile woman in nightclub madness. Who is she? Nigeria searches for the billionaire's new bride. From unknown to Mrs. Billionaire, Rachel's sudden rise. A final headline made Rachel's legs nearly give out. Rachel, the woman who stole Lagos' most eligible bachelor. "Stole," she gasped. "Stole. I didn't steal anybody. I didn't even know what I was doing." Smith stood from the bed, running his hand through his hair. "We need to think. We need to figure out what to do next." Rachel looked at him sharply. "What next?" "I want out. I can't live like this. Her voice cracked. I don't want cameras following me. I don't want to be anybody's trending topic. He held up a hand, calm but firm. I understand, but we need to handle this properly. The public is already running mad with the story. Tunde cleared his throat again. Sir, your PR team is already asking for a statement. And your mother is called 6 times. Smith groaned like he had been stabbed. My mother. Yes, sir. And she is not happy. Rachel wanted the ground to open and swallow her. She felt stripped of her privacy in a single night. She wasn't built for this kind of world, flashing cameras, gossip blogs, public judgment. She had never even dated a man with a car, let alone a billionaire who owned half of Lagos Island. Rachel turned to Smith, desperation in her voice. Please, let's just end this quietly. We can get an annulment. I'll sign anything. I can't live in this kind of madness. Smith looked at her for a long moment. Something unreadable crossed his face. We can't annul anything yet, he finally said. Rachel's heart stopped. What? Why not? He sighed heavily. If we announce an annulment right now, it will look like a publicity stunt. My investors will panic. The board will panic. The media will destroy you. And me. It will become a circus. A circus? And what do you call this? Rachel shouted, pointing at the screen. They're already dragging me. People are calling me a gold digger, a trapper, a clout chaser. And they'll call you worse if we do things wrong, he said calmly. Rachel stared at him, disbelief sharp in her eyes. So what are you saying? Tunde stepped forward. You two may need to pretend. At least for now. Rachel blinked. Pretend. Smith nodded slowly. Yes. Pretend the marriage is intentional. At least for a while. Until the heat dies down. Rachel staggered backward, as if she'd been slapped. Are you mad? I don't want to pretend anything. I don't want to live in your world. My world. Smith's tone sharpened. You think I want this either? You think I planned to get drunk and marry a stranger last night? Rachel's eyes reddened. I'm not the kind of woman who wants fame. I like my simple life. My quiet life. Smith exhaled deeply, frustration mixing with guilt. I know, and I'm sorry, but the situation is bigger than both of us. We need to handle it smartly. Rachel looked away, her breath shaking. She felt trapped, cornered by a mistake she didn't choose. Tunde stepped aside. Sir, the journalists are already downstairs. What? Smith and Rachel said at the same time. Downstairs, Tunde repeated. They're outside the gate. Drones are above the building. This story is everywhere. Everyone wants to see the mystery wife. Rachel felt her knees weaken again. I'm not going out there. I can't face them. Smith nodded. You're not. No one is seeing you today. He turned to Tunde. Get the car ready. We're going to the mainland. Her place. Quietly. Through the private exit. Sir, Tunde said with a small bow. Already moving. Yes, sir. Rachel blinked at him. My place. Why? Because, Smith said, grabbing his shirt and pulling it on. If you stay here, they will eat you alive. We need somewhere quiet until we decide what comes next. But, no arguments. We don't have time. Minutes later, they were rushed through the private underground garage and into a dark-tinted SUV. The driver sped them out through an unmarked back gate. Cameras flashed in the distance. Voices shouted. Sirens wailed. But somehow, they slipped away. At Rachel's apartment, mainland. The moment they entered, Rachel exhaled in relief. Her small, cozy apartment felt like a different universe from Smith's penthouse. Nice place, Smith said quietly. She ignored him and quickly grabbed her phone. Hundreds of missed calls. Thousands of messages. Family. Friends. Co-workers. Unknown numbers. Her mother had sent. Rachel, what have you done? Her boss had sent. Call me now. Her landlord had sent. Congratulations, Madam Billionaire wife. Rachel sat on her couch and began to cry. Real, painful, overwhelming tears. Smith watched her, guilt in his eyes. He looked like a man who wanted to fix things, but didn't know how. Rachel, he said softly, sitting on the edge of her couch. I know this is hard. Hard. She looked at him with red, watery eyes. My entire life just turned upside down. I can't go outside. I can't go to work. I can't even check my phone. He reached out to touch her shoulder, but stopped halfway. I'm sorry, he whispered. She wiped her face angrily. Sorry doesn't fix anything. I want my life back. And I want mine, he said quietly. But right now, we are stuck together. At least until we find a safe way out of this. Rachel stared at him, chest rising and falling heavily. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed again. A new message. From an unknown number. She opened it. Her eyes widened. Rachel? Smith asked. What is it? Rachel's voice trembled. Someone sent me a picture of us. Smith frowned. Which picture? She slowly turned the phone toward him. It was a photo. A clear shot from last night. Rachel and Smith kissing deeply in the club. But that wasn't the shocking part. Beneath the photo was a message. I know what you two did last night. And trust me, this marriage is the beginning of your problems. Rachel's voice shook as she whispered. Smith, someone is threatening us. Who sent the mysterious message? And what do they want from Smith and Rachel? Rachel's hand trembled as she held the phone. The threatening message sat boldly on the screen, like a shadow spreading across her already chaotic morning. Smith took the phone, his jaw tightening as he stared at the message again. I know what you two did last night. And trust me, this marriage is the beginning of your problems. Someone out there wasn't just watching. They were involved. Smith looked up, a storm rising in his eyes. We need to find out who sent this. Rachel shook her head. No. What we need is to end this entire nightmare. I don't want your world, Smith. This is too much. Her voice cracked. She looked drained, emotionally, mentally, physically. The ordinary woman whose biggest stress 2 days ago was meeting her monthly target at work was now at the center of a national scandal. Smith softened. Rachel, listen. There's nothing to listen to, she cut in sharply. I want out. Smith exhaled deeply. We can't just disappear this marriage overnight. Not with a threat involved. Not with the media watching. Not with someone clearly trying to manipulate the situation. Rachel's voice dropped. Why would anyone threaten us? Smith didn't respond immediately, but Rachel noticed the flicker in his eyes, the way he looked away, the way he clenched his jaw. She narrowed her eyes. Smith, are you hiding something? He hesitated. Smith, she repeated, voice firm. What aren't you telling me? Before he could answer, Tunde stepped back into the living room. He had stepped outside to take calls and check the perimeter. Sir, he announced quietly, I think I know who sent the message. Rachel and Smith turned sharply. Who? Smith demanded. Tunde swallowed. It's likely. Madame Bianca. Rachel blinked. Who's Bianca? Smith's eyes slid shut for a moment. My ex-fiancée. Rachel felt her stomach twist. Your ex-fiancée? Tunde nodded carefully. She found out about the breakup last night. She didn't take it well. And sir, she already posted something online. Tunde handed Smith his tablet. Smith scrolled. His face hardened. Rachel leaned over, and her heart dropped. Bianca had posted a picture of Smith and herself from happier days, with a caption that sent chills down Rachel's spine. Men like Smith don't marry a club girl by accident. Somebody planned something. And trust me, I will expose everything. Rachel stepped back as if struck. Club girl? She's calling me a club girl. Smith looked genuinely pained. Rachel, listen. Rachel flared. No. Are you seeing what this woman is saying? She's threatening me online. Why is she even dragging me? I didn't plan anything. Tunde answered gently. Madame Bianca is very influential. She's known to create storms. Rachel paced the room, panic rising again. I'm done, Smith. I'm done with this madness. I want my life back. Smith stood and moved closer. Rachel, I promise you, I didn't plan this. I didn't set you up. I didn't use you to escape Bianca or anything of that sort. She folded her arms tightly. Then why do I feel like you're not telling me the full truth? Smith sighed deeply, rubbing the back of his neck. Fine, he said quietly. You want the truth? Here it is. Rachel stiffened, bracing herself. I ended things with Bianca yesterday evening, he said. She wanted a life built on appearances. Not love. Not partnership. Just brand building. She said she deserved a man of my status, not a man with emotions. Rachel raised an eyebrow. Meaning what? Smith met her gaze. Meaning she never cared about me. Just my name. And when I ended it, she told me I was stupid. That I'd never find someone who genuinely liked me for me. He paused, voice dropping. So last night, when I saw you at the club, laughing, being yourself, not caring who I was, it felt real. Rachel blinked slowly. He continued. I was drunk, yes. You were drunk too. But when I said, marry me, it wasn't just alcohol talking. I just didn't expect you to say yes. Rachel felt a small jolt in her chest. Unexpected, unwanted, confusing. She looked away, swallowing hard. That doesn't change anything, Smith. Your world is too big, too loud, too messy. I don't fit in. Smith stepped closer. Then we make space. Her breath caught. But before she could respond, Tunde's phone buzzed. He checked it, and his eyes widened. Sir, we have a big problem. Smith stiffened. What now? Tunde turned the screen to them. A breaking news headline flashed in bold red. Bianca claims she is proof the new marriage was planned. Press conference in 10 minutes. Rachel gasped. Planned? What is wrong with this woman? Smith muttered a curse under his breath. She's going to paint you as a manipulator, a trapper, someone who tricked me. Rachel grabbed the back of the couch for support. Smith, please. I don't want to be dragged. I didn't ask for any of this. Smith looked at her, really looked at her, and something changed in his expression. Resolve, purpose, a decision made. No one is going to destroy you, he said firmly. Not Bianca, not the media, not anyone. Rachel frowned, confused. What do you mean? Smith held out his hand. Come with me. What? We're going public. Rachel recoiled. Are you crazy? I can't face the media. You won't be alone, he said calmly. We will walk out together. We will tell the truth together. And we will shut down every lie before it spreads. Rachel stared at him, trembling. Smith, your world will eat me alive. Not if I stand in front of you. Something in his voice made her chest tighten. We didn't choose this, he said softly. But we can choose how to face it. Silence settled between them. The kind of silence that changes destinies. After what felt like eternity, Rachel inhaled shakily and placed her hand in his. Okay, she whispered. Let's go. They walked toward the door. Tunde rushed after them. Sir, madam, once you step outside, the whole country will be watching. Are you ready? Smith glanced at Rachel. She squeezed his hand. Let them watch, she said quietly. The door opened. Flashes exploded. Microphones rose. Voices roared. A hurricane of attention. Smith stepped forward, shielding Rachel slightly behind him, then pulled her gently to his side where the cameras could see her too. And with a steady, unwavering voice, he began. Good afternoon, Nigeria. My name is Smith Benson, and I have something to say about my wife. Gasps erupted. Phones clicked. Reporters leaned forward. Rachel's heart hammered in her chest, but she didn't step back. She stood firm, beside him, where fate had placed her, where the next chapter of her life, whatever it might be, was about to begin. Dear listeners, should Rachel give Smith a real chance, or should she walk away once the chaos calms? What do you think? Please leave your thought in the comment section.